Welcome, you gluttons for punishment. Whew! It is I, Hewlett, David Hewlett, on a Sunday workout. What kind of crazy man am I? Well, crazy fit. Not at all. I'm crazy dying. Oh my God. Isn't this supposed to get easier the more you do it? I thought that was the idea. All right, wait for a few people to say hello as I make myself look a little better. Hello, David. Hello, Eric. Good morning to you. Evening to me. Morning to you. My God. Isn't the exercise supposed to get easier? Am I supposed to get better and better? And you'll work out harder and harder and become even more of a fit young thing? Yeah. What happened to that? I'd love to know. Um, how is everyone? All right, I'm playing with my phone. I should stop that. I've done an update, and things look different. Oh my God, look, everyone's here. David, Eric, Chris, Rebecca, Scott, Wayne, Viewer Eco, El Cazel, Max, Satek. Hello, everybody. Yeah, it's late today. It's Sunday. I'm not even supposed to be exercising today. This is my day off. This is my day of rest. I spent the week destroying solar systems, and now I get to rest. But I took Saturday off. I can't take Sunday as well. 2 days. It's not that I don't. It's not that I don't want to take all the days off. I don't want to do this at all. I hate exercise. But for some reason, that second day off just feels like a slippery slope, shall we say? So a great sweaty slippery slope. So I thought I'd do a little workout. Same deal. This is my Burn&Learn. This is my bid to stay alive and fit long enough to enjoy my old age with my brilliant wife Jane, beautiful wife Jane, fabulous son Sebastian, and my mad dog Huzzah. I hate exercise, can't stand it, so I'm doing this in order to guilt myself into doing it, and I get to enjoy a little chat at the end of each of my torture sessions, and when I get to talk to you, and that is a great joy to me and a great guilt if I don't do it. So there you go. How was the coffee with the friend? It was very nice. We had a very nice walk the dog. We even went for lunch. It was wonderful. 5 weeks to Christmas. Oh, shut it, Eric. Come on, Philpot. 5 weeks. Oh, God. Bah and humbugs, I say to you. I am the Grinch. I mean, my son says I actually like Christmas, but I don't think I do. Max is just watching Atlantis. I wonder how many people are just watching Atlantis right now. It is amazing. It's just on everywhere. Like, I can't sort of get over it, that it's still years, decades after the fact. It's still going strong. Maybe not quite as strong as it was back in the day, but it's still there. Oh, so I should take this off, shouldn't I? 'Cause I shouldn't be using this. I should be using this as my means of communication. Let me see if I do this without pulling everything apart. So yes, Madness and Memory, back on that book again today. Although I've been listening to a lot of what I would call business porn. I've been listening to a lot of these podcasts and YouTube videos about business. I don't know why. I'm just kind of fascinated by it. I feel like in another life I must have been like one of those like entrepreneur bros. I was a crypto bro in another life or something. I don't know. I just find this stuff fascinating. I just like hearing all the stories about it, the genesis of these things. And I'm sure a lot of it is made up, but anyway, I just find it kind of fascinating. So I've been listening to lots of that, but I stopped. Dutifully returned to my Audible Madness and Memory book. This is the story about the discovery of prions, as written by the guy who discovered them, the Stanley B Prusiner, MD. This is a book recommended to me by the brilliant James R. Gurney. He's Jim the Evo, I believe, on YouTube. So go check him out. Had a great session yesterday. I'm afraid I couldn't be as long as I'd like to have, but I finally got into. To Tech Talk again. So I got to talk to Barnacules and Ox again and all the folks on there. That was just kind of wonderful. And then I had, I was online all day yesterday. So then I had a chat with my friends from all around the world. We all get together every Saturday and sort of catch up with everyone in our lives and stuff. Been doing that since the pandemic. So God knows how many years that is now. And then finally, I got to hop onto the 1440 Makers charity stream for Hawaii. I think it's basically for the fire, to sort of rebuild after the fire and stuff. But it's basically a Maui community support group, and I just freaking love the maker community. It's just the coolest bunch of most accepting and kind and welcoming. And oh my God, I wish I could have done the whole stream, but I popped in to say hello and. just sort of like offer my, my congratulations and my gratitude for what they're doing. But I'm not sure exactly what they raised. But God, Shane and his bunch of friends, what a wonderful, wonderful bunch of people. Anyways, hello, Andrew Adams. Wayne, how are you, buddy? How's Australia? Saz, Stephen. Business porn, yeah, I call it business porn because it really is. It's just like happy stories about like it's all great, it's fantastic, we're so rich. Hoping to meet you in Basingstoke next year. Oh, good. Well, we'll see you there. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Actually, that sounds like a really good con, and it sounds like there's gonna be a lot of Stargate people there. And I'm hoping to do a little bit of tech banditry stuff there as well, like some robot stuff, and I don't know, maybe judge some educational contest type stuff. So, anyways, hey, good day from Dev Marvel. Good day to you. Uncle Josephine also checking in. Utmost respect. I like the sound of that, Snake Eater, from Czech Republic. Oh, well, welcome to this little happy little group. Kai, hello to you. And yeah, the reading today. This madness and memory thing. It is, as a non-scientist, as a TV only scientist, it is really interesting to hear this guy's perspective. I imagine it must be for scientists as well to hear this guy talk us through the process, the history of getting to this. I don't know if he won a Nobel Prize for it, or I think he may have won. I'm not sure where. I don't know what the ending is yet. No spoilers. But apparently this was a huge discovery. I'm assuming it's going to end in some kind of awards, or it's certainly a big breakthrough in modern, not really virology, but in relating to these horrible brain infecting, what they thought were slow viruses. It turns out these things called prions, which he discovered, which seem to replicate without DNA. Anyways, it's interesting because he's talking now about all the different personalities in his field. Something else that I found interesting, so like yesterday I was sort of talking about how sort of wonderful it was to hear him talk about the importance of deciding what problem you're going to solve as a scientist and then how you get the money to solve it. Because none of this comes cheap. I mean, I always picture like, how expensive can it be? It's just you're there and there's penicillin on a piece of toast and there you go. You're world famous and you saved everyone's lives. It's a huge process because in order to validate the stuff you're doing, there's just a lot of technologies and tools and animals, frankly, that need to be involved in this, and brilliant people that you've got to attract to work on this stuff. What he's going into now, I guess, along with the process and some of the it became almost a contest in his mind which he warns us against and says like it's very dangerous when scientists get into a race to solve something, because his opinion is that you start to think about your own perspective on it rather than on looking for universal truths about this stuff. You just focus on trying to prove that you are right, and how difficult it was for him to try to do that when he was seeing all these people making these discoveries, which were then proven wrong, basically. But that there were a lot of people sort of jumping into the fray in the hopes of being the ones to sort of be the first person to say something about it and not succeeding. But also just the incredible personalities involved in this. That there were people seemed to rule these little areas, little pockets of science and research, almost like little, is fiefdom the right word, or little kingdoms? There were these incredibly big personalities who sort of lauded their position in these little areas. As one man got up and announced that it would be terrible if everyone could just figure out whether a disease was this scrapie or something, because then there'd be hundreds of people doing this research instead of just it's exactly the right amount at 6 or 7 right now. I was just sort of these wonderful insights into the personalities and the personality conflicts, I guess, both between the scientists and between their scientist and their own science. How your own personality and ambitions and such can get in the way of the truth, and it's really refreshing sort of perspective on this stuff. And I'm once again finding myself. I very much appreciated my little friend James R. Gurney, Prof. Dr. Gurney, for finding this one, because he said I would like it, and you know what? Damn it, he's right. Prion comes from protein infection. Yes, Chris J. That seems to be where we're going with it. That these proteins can somehow replicate without nucleic acids. Is that right? Nucleic acids? Yeah. So without RNA or DNA, it seems to be the way this thing is working. Did you see the colorization they've done for the classic Who? Guess AI helped. Oh, really? I don't usually like colorization. The only colorization I've seen that was devastatingly powerful to me was this artist who takes photos. I mean, she did colorization of old historic photos, but she did a series of. I think she's now being hired by them, but she did a number of record photos from Auschwitz, from the concentration camps and the Jews that were captive there, and she were killed there, murdered there, and she would do colorization and sort of modernization of the image. I should modernization is really the wrong word, but she would research all of the materials, like what were the uniforms made out of, the fabrics, what were the colors of those fabrics. She would try to get references. She would try to find references for the hair colors for the people and the eye colors, and make this colorization as absolutely historically accurate, as factually accurate as possible. And she did this to a couple of images, and it was like being punched in the gut. All of a sudden, these black and white historic images were transformed into just terrified little girls and men and women, and in the most horrific condition. I mean, it was just startling, the power, the artistic power of that. I mean, talking about a science mixing with history, talking about a need to combine these pillars of knowledge. I mean, the ability to do this these very accurate colorizations very well, and she was doing this stuff by hand. I guess AI is now going to do it too, which I imagine would be eventually. Well, I'm sure that'll be the way things are done in the future, anyways. But it was incredibly powerful thing she did, and I think, as I say, they've now hired her to basically colorize everyone, to humanize all these people, because I think that's what is very dangerous. We hear these, you hear about these numbers of people dying around the world. I mean, the fact that the Sudan is not a big part of the news in other, parts of Africa where the people are being killed, as well as obviously Gaza and Israel. And I mean, it's so easy for them to become numbers, and numbers that we can't comprehend. So the idea of colorizing these images and making these people human instead of historical figures was just startling. I should look up her name. I got to find her name because she's just amazing. Yeah, Steve, I know you've seen them too. Yeah, they're extraordinary. Whovians Assemble. That's right. It's funny. I don't really watch the new Doctor Who anymore. I feel sort of embarrassed to say that, but I was such a huge fan of the original. Not the original. It wasn't even the original. I mean, this was the 1980s, 90s Doctor Who stuff. So Tom Baker, John Pertwee. They were my two favorite doctors, and I loved it, just loved it, partially because of the science and scientists and science fiction writers who would come on after and talk about the potential science in each of these episodes. And so as a result, I find it very difficult to watch the new ones. I really do. There's some fabulous episodes. I mean, Blink is one of my favorite episodes of any television show. It's an amazing episode. And there are some wonderful, wonderful things. But for some reason, I guess it's just getting older. That's it. Just getting older. I miss my, I liked, I use him, not my Doctor Who, there's a bit of that. Definitely really enjoyed the performances, by the new guys. But I for some reason the actual show itself doesn't draw me quite as much. I should say, I shouldn't say that. I suppose I should go back and start watching it again. Honestly, there's just too many good things to watch. Too many things to watch these days. It must be cold in there. I can see your breath. Yeah, I mean, like I say, I emerged from the torture device like I've fallen out of the back end of a horse. That is how cold and chilly it is in here, and it may become, well, it's going to become unbearable. I'm sure I'm going to have to get some heating in here at some point. But hearing some of the first sound recordings is a similar thing for me. Yeah, Johnny Wednesday, did you hear about? There was a guy who was creating I can't remember, scratches in smoke on glass to test before the phonograph or Alexander Graham Bell or any of that kind of stuff. This guy was testing these different ways of creating sound, and a museum found them, and we used AI and computers to recreate them, and you could hear this guy who was the first voice ever to be recorded artificially before any of these other ones that were out there. and it was just this. It's a very haunting thing. The other one that, oh my god, the one that freaked me out. Another great science story from that I got that I put in. I believe I put it in my email of awesome awesomeness or the Tech Bandits, one of the two. Was about the larynx of this mummy that they took and recreated, and then recreated the sound that this larynx would make and they made this groan, this horrible mummy-like groan that you could sort of get the timbre and the sound of this guy's voice. I mean, from however many thousands of years ago, whatever it was. I envy you. Being 37 C yesterday, all week. Now I'll be 39 and 44. What are we now? We're probably 4 or 5 degrees right now, I'm guessing. Sad times. My break is almost over. Hope everyone has a great day. Night, Cat. Hey, Cat. Enjoy it. I'm glad you enjoyed your break. Have a good night, day. What does you say? Whatever. It was really creepy, Scott. It was creepy, but also just really cool. Like the fact that you could do that is kind of amazing. Reminds me of when they 3D printed that raptor skull in Jurassic Park. Wow. What did they do with that? I don't know. I don't remember that. Just a Stargate mod says hello there. Well, hello there, Just a Stargate mod. Blurty Dad. I saw that too. Creepy but cool. That's it. I find creepy cool and cool creepy often in many cases. That's why I'm a big fan of the horror. The horror. The horror. I've been watching. Speaking of sci-fi, I've been watching a show called Bodies, which is kind of fun. I mean, it's actually very Doctor Who like, but it's kind of fun. Like there's these murders. The same body shows up murdered in the same way with the same mystery surrounding it in numerous different time periods. And it's just sort of how they all blend together and try to solve each other. I mean, I have a real issue with time travel stuff. Time travel stuff is just the paradoxes just drive me kind of crazy. But if you can just sort of if you can almost sort of like silence the little scientist in the back of your head and just enjoy the show, it's quite fun. Seeing your face makes me happy. That's good random leak. I've been told before I've got a face to laugh at for sure, but I'm very glad that I can cheer you up with my big sweaty face. Paul Michael Freeman, great. I caught you live this time. I'm glad you did, Paul. That's great. I'm sorry that you have to catch me live in such a horrible, sweaty, and disgusting manner, but that is the Burn and Learn of which I am a part. Oh yeah, Torchwood fun, wasn't it too? That was my favorite from Doctor Who. Really, Rebecca liked Torchwood the best. Yeah, Torchwood had. I didn't watch a lot of Torchwood. Again, I wasn't really in that. I was watching bits of it. I was probably just jealous. I wanted to be Doctor Who. I mean, that's probably more than anything else. Anything with time travel is a mess. Not sure if anyone has ever done it well. Yeah, the time travel stuff is very difficult. I would say who does it well is Doctor Who. They do time travel very well, I think, because they just have fun with it. What's the name of the show? The one like Doctor Who. It's called Bodies. It's based on a graphic novel called Bodies, and it's kind of fun. I'm almost tempted to say maybe I would like to read the graphic novel. Maybe read the graphic novel first and then watch the show. Because I have a feeling there may be an artistic element to it that might be kind of fun to have a look at. The other one I've been looking at recently is I just started watching Blue-Eyed Samurai. Oh, that is gorgeous, just gorgeous. I mean, what a beautiful looking show. Only the SGU time loop with their offspring was a good one. Oh, there you go. So apparently SGU got it right. SG1 did time travel kind of neat. Yeah, I mean, they played with it, but I mean, I think, and they tried to address it and stuff, but yeah, I do find time travel is always a bit messy. I much prefer the alternate universe stuff is much neater to me. I find that much more, it cleans things up better. It's less, it's less worrying to me. When time travel events had always happened and always will, those are the best. Okay, yeah. All right. Have you seen Travelers? Is great. That is, Maria, that's another one I've got to watch, Travelers. Dark Towers is a really creepy, good book series. Really like that one. Watched the first episode last night. It was so beautiful. Of Blue-Eyed Samurai. Yeah, it's gorgeous, isn't it? It's hard to make it seem... It has to make it seem trueable with time travel plots. That's my thing, is you start going like... I just feel like you spend more time trying to work stuff out than you do enjoying the show. So I've sort of got this... I've almost got this kind of like... I've sort of lobotomized that part of my brain while I'm watching it, and so I can just enjoy I can revel in the characters and stuff. But otherwise, I find myself going, wait a second, and I'm not sure if I've got anything right or wrong. In fact, in many cases, James was like, well, don't you see, that's so-and-so and that's so-and-so. And I was like, okay, who's that? Like, I'm just like the old guy and going like, who's talking now? I've become that person, I'm afraid. Daedalus Variations, solid show. Yeah. Bodies drags on too much. Yeah, I would agree, Stephen. I feel it's maybe gilding the lily a little bit at this point. I think Grandfather Paradox in time travel is messed up, but very fun concept. Yeah, like, look, I think it's a great thing to play with. And I think, actually, let me put it this way. I think the best films about time travel are the ones that are trying to figure it out. I think those are fun, where they're trying to come up with like a plausible way of making it work. I think that's really fun. I mean, I'm still haunted by that old short story about the where they crush the butterfly. They could go back in time, but they crush the butterfly, and he returns back to his time, or they return back to their time zone, and everything's changed because he killed a butterfly in the Jurassic period or something. I can't remember who wrote that, but it's just a great book, and it freaked me out. Um, David remembers watching the very first Doctor Who. Wow, wasn't it done like live on video on a stage in the BBC? Um, I don't watch hockey. Isn't that funny? Yeah, hockey is not something I've really got into, I've got to say. I don't watch hockey much except when Finland beats Canada. Oh, did you just win? Won a video game with a bet against Canadian friend in 2022. Wow, really? Okay, all right. So you only like it when Canada is losing. That's good. That's great. Well, I can't get behind that. I can't. I can get behind that when I'm in England or in America, but not while I'm in Canada. I can't. Looper was brutal, more like time fantasy. Yeah, it's funny, Uncle Joseph. I enjoyed the style and the feel of Looper, but again, I don't remember. I don't really remember the time travel stuff of it. Ghosts are not ghosts. They are living in parallel life, but at a different time. Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of those sort of theory stuff about the whole ghost thing. Someone had another one about that maybe energy never dies. So is it do places pick up energy and then project it back out? I don't buy any of that myself. I'm afraid I'm like of course I believe in God once you can prove him to me. So but not until then. So many variables in time travel. Always say, but hey, what if this happened? Yeah, exactly. That's kind of it. Yeah, it's a tough one. I don't know what I would do with a time travel show. Um, yeah, I don't. You know what? The other thing that's kind of weird now is that one thing I've got to say about bodies for a second is that there is some aging makeup on one of the actors, one of the male actors, that is extraordinary. Like, I don't know who did it, but normally I find the aging makeup looks really cheesy. And there's a few cheesy effects in this. And like I said, there's a certain Doctor Who quality to some of the stuff. Like, I mean, they're doing a lot. I don't know what kind of budget they had, but they're doing an awful lot and doing a lot of it very well. But there's definitely some stuff where you're going like, a little cheese factor. But it was fun. But it's fun. It's fun, I think for the most part pretty well acted. There's a few people I sort of go like, uh oh. But like I say, there's a character in there who ages, and it's just extraordinary. I don't know whether it's a combination where they've done makeup effects, like makeup visual effects, and then added, maybe they've softened it with visual effects or something. It doesn't look like that. It looks just like they're older. It's amazing. Scientific mind is the best mind. Damn right. It's like that Haunter movie you were in Vincenzo Natali. I liked it a lot. Well, yeah, Vincenzo plays with that stuff a lot. I mean, I don't know whether it's time travel. Yeah, Haunter plays with that. So does In the Tall Grass as well. That plays with some really weird time stuff there too. And it gets weird. It's horror, so it just becomes horrible. But have you seen Talk to Me? Oh my God, Mandy Buckland. God, it's like my favorite freaking horror film out right now. Talk to Me is, I love it. I love those guys. God, it's so cool to see. It's like, it reminded me of my friends who were making movies from like age 10 on. They went on to make Cube. And I just think like, wow, if they were born now, they would be on YouTube and they would learn all of their tricks and stuff on YouTube, and then they'd go and make a movie, and it would be just brilliant. And I just really, yeah, I really, really enjoyed that film, and I really enjoyed the minds behind it. I thought they were just fantastic. All right, Eric's got to go. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for you. Why am I saying? Why am I saying you're welcome? Thank you for being here. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate you dropping by. Quantum Leap, the world's greatest excuse to create an anthology. Yes, I would have to agree, Johnny Wednesday. Quantum Leap is kind of wonderful. What about the grandfather's paradox? Yeah, that's it. You go back all in time. You're afraid of screwing up your own timeline. That's it. Have you seen Kane Pixels stuff on Tube? No, on YouTube. No, I haven't. Kane Pixels. Up. Let me get out the pen. I shall get out the rocket pen and write this down. What is his name? Kane Pixels. All right, or their name. I don't know. Kane Pixels. I shall check it out. There you go. The time travel stuff. Yeah, I tend to try to avoid that for the most part. Other than Doctor Who, which again, I used to. The other thing about Doctor Who is I used to read all the books. I used to love the Doctor Who books, and I think they were just novelizations of the show, but they were fun. I mean, they were written by people who obviously enjoyed it and stuff. What is going on? All right. Here was a random time traveler episode idea that McKay would go back to a parallel dimension, then go back in time, and then also get lost physically, like wrong galaxy, and would have to find his way back. There you go. So basically, just a McKay Lost. You could do McKay Lost in a box. That guy's got no sense of direction. He can't read maps. You know what I mean? Minimal space horror. Oh, I like the sound of that. Eye Nocturne. This is the new. You know, the new Quantum Leap is run by Martin Garrow from Stargate. That's why it's damn good. I haven't seen it, to be honest. I don't really watch. I'm terrible. I don't watch TV. I just don't watch television, especially normal television on network television. But I had a lovely chat with him recently with Martin, and he's just a freaking brilliant guy. Just amazing. So, isn't it amazing? I watched it about 1 a.m. this morning because I couldn't sleep. Really enjoyed it. It's currently my favorite horror at the moment. Mandy, oh really? You watched it at 1 a.m. by yourself? Holy crap! You're braver than I am. Pearl says, sounds interesting. Too much on lists to watch. Yeah, no kidding. Stuck in a box, Cube reference. Yeah, basically. Yeah, they made a movie out of how I can't even I get lost in a box. McKay and Cool McKay doing a time travel episode. There you go. Although I still want an evil McKay. That's the one I missed out on. I feel like I missed out by not getting to play an evil McKay at some point. I always find reboots of childhood nostalgia shows to be let down. That's my problem on Stable Voltage. That's exactly my problem. I know it's just an old, don't like change thing, but yeah, you know what it is? It's because as a kid, you can become so much more engrossed and engaged in this stuff. And then when you watch a remake later, it could be brilliant. You're still just kind of like, you're still like, it's not, it's just, you don't have the same engagement because you're just not the same age. You're not as naive and silly. You're jaded and twisted, sweaty, old and grizzled like me. Although Battlestar, I was like, well, this sounds ridiculous. A woman Starbuck, and then, oh my god, I was freaking hooked. I was like some of the best science fiction I've ever freaking seen. I absolutely loved it. I don't know how it would work now, but certainly at the time I was blown away. Yeah, you know what? It would be difficult now to do it because everything's become this nihilistic horror. Listen to me. This nihilistic science fiction has become like the de facto standard for film and TV fare now. Like it's just all depressing sci-fi. But that was like the first one that had like a dark sense of humor. It was grim and it was important and Peabody worthy and that kind of stuff. So I really at the time really enjoyed it. Then I got kind of bored of all the nihilistic stuff. I was like, for God's sake, Blade Runner. We've done Blade Runner and it's all neon and cool and miserable. Why do we have to keep? No one's progressed in the future. No one's come up with a different future than that. You know what I mean? BSG was brilliant. It's true. Best light horror flick has got to be a. You suck up, Michael. Thank you so much. A Dog's Breakfast. Yeah, it's good. It's fun. That was me playing with horror, that's for sure. Absolutely. We'd like to do a horror film. Jane and I have this crazy, they call it an entomological horror, that she keeps bugging me to write, but I hate writing. An entomological horror that she's bugging me to write. It's like I pun myself all the time. The Expanse. The Expanse is beautiful as well. Yeah. Although I read the book. I read the first book. I should read more of them because I know I'll like them. I really enjoyed the first book. I started watching the series. I found it difficult after the first season because I love Thomas Jane. It's freaking brilliant. And also what is it? That guy, my favorite actor. For God's sake, can I not remember his name? Related to the old guy who was originally was the second Dumbledore or something. What's his name? No, I can't remember. Someone will get it. Hewlett versus Momoa. That would be evil and ugly. Yeah, there you go. Well, hey, wait a second. I did that, Wayne Taylor. That's exactly what I did. Go check out C. That's literally Hewlett versus Momoa. Dang, I have to watch Dog's Breakfast. I wanted to, but forgot. But you have my promise. Oh, nice, Pipe. Okay, so all right. Paul Michael has promised. We'll hold you to it now. Horror I like. The Final Destination movies. Oh, they were kind of fun in a silly way. Have you watched, I really enjoyed I enjoyed Escape Room, the horror movie. There's a second one that I kind of want to watch, which I don't imagine is as good. But I remember quite liking it. It was silly, but it was fun. I've seen a bunch of good horror, actually, I got to say, recently. Check out Totally Killer, which is basically Back to the Future done as a serial killer movie, done as a Halloween movie. And it's just freaking funny. I mean, it's horrible. There's some horrible killings and stuff, but really good. And the other one I think I've mentioned before is In Fear. Wow, that is a really creepy movie. That is almost as creepy as, not quite as good, but certainly really had me going there for a while. There was a film, I can't remember, I'll call it a foreign film because it wasn't from Canada, but it was a film called what was it called? The Vanishing. The Vanishing? I think it was The Vanishing. It was remade as a terrible American film, but the original Vanishing, in whatever language it was the most terrifying, one of the most terrifying movies I remember ever seeing in my life, something like that. Michael oh yeah, no, it wasn't him. It was, who took his place? You know what I mean? Oh, Matt Smith was your first doctor. He's a good doctor, Blurty Dad. He was really good. I got to say, Matt Smith, I would have to say, was the closest in tone to the Doctor Who that I grew up with, like Tom Baker type thing. So I definitely say that. One movie that freaked me out in always be The Entity. Oh yeah, The Entity was pretty. Jared Harris, that's it, Scott. Thank you, sir. I knew someone would get it. Jared Harris, brilliant in that first season or the first couple of seasons of The Expanse. That weird freaking accent. He was the only one who could do it properly. It was just amazing. And him and, oh God, yeah, that was that. The first season of that blew my freaking mind. And I like everything. It went on and I lost track, and then you don't pick it up again. I gotta do that. I mean, at some point. But who's got time? I gotta exercise every day. You know what I'm saying? All right, I'm freezing cold. Gotta go. The original The Vanishing was Dutch. That's right. That makes sense. Okay. So Unstable Voltage. Thank you, everyone. If you want to see an absolutely terrifying movie in Dutch, it's called The Vanishing, and man, it even had a weird sense of humor to it. But it was like this. I shouldn't say anything. Never mind. I was almost going to give you a spoiler. The Annihilation. I enjoyed that. It was pretty wild. Anderson Dawes. What's that? Harris was one of my favorite parts of Fringe. He was in Fringe? I don't remember that. My friend did Fringe. Have a great night. I shall, Eternal Nude. Thank you very much. Sci-fi horror, The Thing. Oh yeah, The Thing. That's the best. Yeah, like the 1990s thing or 80s thing. Wow, man, I love that. All right, I better get going. We got dinner guests, and I don't think they want to see me like this. Although if they do, it'll put them off the food. It means there's more food for me. My wife is making like literally my mouth is watering just talking about it. She makes this like this. It's not going to sound that fancy, but it's like chicken with like there's like beans and chorizo and this lovely tomato sauce stuff, and it just cooks up and bubbles up, and you get the little crispy chicken and and the bread. You just soak up all the sauce, and it's magnificent, I say. All right, Exorcist. Yeah, I'd like to see The Exorcist again. I feel like The Exorcist. I wonder if that'll hold up. You know what is a really silly, but kind of fun because of what's his name? Cameron? Not Cameron. Oh my God! If I lost it, oh my God! I'm like reading a book on like mental deterioration diseases. I think I'm getting one right now. It's like I'm such a hypochondriac. I'm getting it through just reading the book. What's it called? The Pope's Exorcist. The Pope's Exorcist is just kind of fun because Cameron Crowe. Is that right? Cameron Crowe? Is that right? Did I get that right? Do I mean that? Russell Crowe. That's it. Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe is having so much freaking fun in that movie. It's so stupid and it's so cheesy. But you know what? It's worth it just to watch him doing this like amazing character. He's having fun. He's speaking. I don't know, whatever he's speaking, Latin and stuff. Like it's just like it's amazing. Yeah, Russell Crowe he's just kind of fun having that. So that's again, it's so stupid. Like please don't judge me, but it's just kind of fun. The other one, the other one's really good is the Invisible Man. That latest Invisible Man that they did, where with Kate Moss, the one from. God, what is she known for? She was in Mad Men and yeah, whatever. Yeah, check out Invisible Man. It's that's really interesting. It's like sort of about an abusive relationship, but the abuser is the Invisible Man guy. So it's kind of creepy. Yeah. Oh, Hellraiser, that was fun. The concept of Hellraiser is really fun. I thought, and also. I saw a really fun Hellraiser. It's the one in space. It's so, again, not good, but fun. It's just kind of an interesting. It tells you the story about how the box is built, and it has like these cheesy sci-fi things, but it's actually quite well. I was sort of surprised at how well it held up. It was just kind of a fun one. I can't remember what number Hellraiser was. Hellraiser 2023, is it good, Paul? Is it worth seeing? I've not seen Imogen Zed. No, I've not seen that. Eternal Noob. Imogen. I have to look that. What is that? I have to look that up. Yep, looking it up. Eternal Noob is saying Imogen Z. Okay. Event Horizon's fantastic. Oh my god, I loved Event Horizon. Event Horizon is like a Hellraiser in space. You know what I mean? Space horror is really fun. I got to say, like Saturn V or Saturn VII or whatever the hell it was. That one was also really fun too. So I meant Imagine Z. I don't know that one. Do I know that Imagine Z? No, I don't think I know that. All right, I'll have a look. Having a look. Event Horizon is a bit like Stargate Gone Horrible. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was. But yeah, Event Horizon is definitely one of my favorites of those. All right, I'm freezing. I'm out of here. Everyone, go check out techbandits.org, please. Sign up for the Tech Bandits email of awesomeness. I sent one out on Friday. There'll be another one this week. Just a fun email. I'm trying to create a community outside of these silly social media platforms that drive me so crazy, literally drive me crazy and outraged and frustrated and angry and all that kind of stuff. So this is just my little embracing of whatever technologies and news stories that relate to science and tech that I find interesting for the day, and I thought other people might find interesting as well. So there you go, of the week. So until we geek again, I will say be safe, be kind, be brilliant, cheerio, and huzzah! Now I've got to warm up.